All right, here we are. We have a new Mishnah and hopefully a good lesson to learn. Perek Gimel Mishnah Daled. Very small Mishnah, but a very important Mishnah. Reb Chanina ben Hachinochi Omer. Hanoyer Balayla, a person who's up at night, V'amahalach b'derech yechidi, and he goes on the way alone. Umefana libo levatolo. There is going to be a variety of mahalchim in the poskim and the mefarshim how to read this Mishnah. If there are two things with one end or three different things. Again, is it hanoyer balayla umefana libo levatolo and hamahalach b'derech yechidi umefana libo levatolo? That's one way to read it. Or the other way to read it is there are three different things going on. Hanoyer balayla, hamahalach b'derech yechidi. There are two different ways to learn the Mishnah, and we're going to say a variety of different explanations going both ways. Anybody does any of those things, this person, he is mischayev b'nafshoy, and what did he do wrong? What did he do wrong? Which avera? Bittul Torah? With Bittul Torah is the avera, so you're Bittul Torah even if you didn't do all those kind of things. So where's the mischayev b'nafshoy? Does it say someplace a person's mischayev b'nafshoy for Bittul Torah? It doesn't say that directly anywheres. So what is the message of the Mishnah? The message of the Mishnah is this is not a regular Bittul Torah. This is some kind of immense, greater disgrace of the Torah than regular. And therefore this Mishnah has to be explained what is going on over here. I'm going to start with Rashi because he's the Pashtin, and we'll see already that life is not so simple. Hanoyer balayla. There's nothing wrong with having insomnia, right? That's not a problem. So Rashi has to fill us in. Umachashev baliboy divrei havoy. I have a problem with this Rashi. I thought that I think in my brain. I thought so. V'yadata hayoim v'hashevoy sa'el levavecha. That needs to be explained, right? If you know something, what's it doing in your heart? Your heart is a place of emotion. So here we have Avachashev belibo. He thinks in his heart. We should send him to the Golden Road, Brick Road, I guess. I don't know. Divrei havoy, ridiculous things. So, levatola, levatel, lihibatel midivrei Torah. Lihibatel midivrei Torah. Anybody over here know some kind of a diktuk? Want to translate that word?
To become batel.
Right. Okay, you translate it correctly. Now, could you tell me what it means?
It sounds like that's his goal.
That sounds like a goal, right? So,
Yeah.
in other words, a person, so Rashi says, we're speaking about a person who made an effort to make Bittul Torah. I desired, that's the first Rashi says, I desired to make Bittul Torah. This is how I read the Rashi. Okay? So a person who desires to do Bittul Torah, some people do Bittul Torah, it just comes natural. Some people are professionals, they do a better job than others. But the bottom line is it on your list of things to do today? So here we have a Rashi, which sounds like the person has some kind of a list to do, and we're already getting warmed up that there's something going on in this Mishnah. Like to read now the Rabbeinu Yonah. I just mentioned this, I think I mentioned this a year or two ago. I always find Rabbeinu Yonah difficult to learn because he's so in the face. He says it as it is, makes you feel very uncomfortable. And the problem with it, it doesn't usually need much of an explanation because it's self-explanatory what he says, but it's usually very awesome. So I'm going to share with you the words of Rabbeinu Yonah. Let me just get this thing. I don't know. So I should be in the middle. All right. Am I okay? I know my makeup's on. Well, anyways, here the Rabbeinu Yonah says as follows. Why is he mischayev b'nafsho? Rabbeinu Yonah's problem is why is the person mischayev b'nafsho? And he says as follows. This is what's called prime time. This is the time that a person is supposed to be using the best as he can for learning. when you have that opportunity of prime time, you should be using it for important things. And if you're not doing that, that was where it becomes a problem. Those are times which are prone to good limud haTorah. You have nothing else on your desk. I think in our days of Bidud, those who have children could probably understand this idea. When you're trying to concentrate, you'll have difficulties. So, but that time, there's nothing else, no noise, no distractions. If the person will decide to move away from Limud Torah, why? Shemafsid Zman. You missed out on an opportunity. The reason that you're Mechayev and Asher is not because of Bittul Torah. You wasted. That's what you did wrong. You could have had clear, concise, crystal thoughts, and you wasted it on something of lesser value or no value at all. So that's the beginning of this Mishnah. Rashi and Rabbeinu Yoina, in my opinion, are more or less going in the same direction, and they're telling us that we have to make sure that we use our time properly. That's the subject of the Mishnah. There's a Gemara in Beitza that tells about a fellow, a Tana, who was giving a very long shiur. And as time went by, people would slip out of the shiur. And the Gemara gives names to all the people who slip out of the shiur. The guys who made it to the bottom of the ninth, I'm sorry, Ellen, you don't know what that means. But the guys who made it to the bottom of the ninth, you don't know either, Gil, you know what that means? The guy made it all the way to the end of the game. They got called the worst name. And the Stipler asked the question, why should they be called the worst names? They stuck it out the longest. They should get a medal. They should get a standing ovation. Why do they get the worst name out of all the people? And he answers, he says, because they understood to stay the longest. That means they understood that what's going on is really important. Those people who have that understanding, they have a bigger obligation to make it all the way to the end. The people that dropped out in the beginning, that's one thing. I'll just give an example. What would you say to a fellow who said, you asked, are you learning Daf Yomi? He said, I started it 7 years ago, but I decided to drop out. So we drop out. I need a Daf Chof Beis. What would you say to that guy? You'd murder him, right? How can such a guy do such a thing? What a terrible thing. You made it all the way 7 years, 7.5 years, and you dropped out? Obviously, the guy could have a good reason. But if you understand the great project that you're involved in, how do you leave right before the end? Okay, this is an important concept. So a person who's Ne'er Balayla, some say, that you're already up and you're fighting those difficult moments, trying to keep it all together. And you close the book and you don't struggle till you drop. He's a Mischayev and Avshai. All the people who left at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, okay, they didn't really understand the Chashivas of Torah, but you made it all the way to 1:30 in the morning and you didn't stay out the whole Mishmor night, then there's something wrong with you. Person has to try to push himself. I said over once in the shiur the following story, and I'm going to say it again because it's inspiration to me. Rabbi Bergman, son-in-law of Rav Shach, in Bnei Brak, when he was a bacher, he used to learn with the Chazon Ish. And he says, I'm quoting him, he says the Chazon Ish, he would learn with him, and sometimes he'd be so tired, he would fall asleep while learning with the Chazon Ish. Now, I don't think I'd be able to do that, but he was able to fall asleep learning with the Chazon Ish. And the Chazon Ish would nudge him, and he would say, wake up, now's not a time to learn. Why is now not a time to learn? Because you made it a whole day. You learned the whole day, and now when sleep is falling on you, now you're going to sleep. Now is the time where you have to exert yourself even more. This is a Torah Shalamadati Ba'af. This is a difficult Torah, and difficult Torah that a person learns at this time, it will get him a bigger schos. So your job is now to stay up. That's what the Chazon Ish told him. He nudged him forward. They learned every single night, I think from 10 to 2 in the morning. And he said, just because you're tired, that's no reason to go to sleep. Okay? All right, you can think about that. So when are you supposed to go to sleep? And Chazon Ish didn't have that problem. He didn't go to sleep. He fell asleep. All right? You know, maybe going to sleep is not an activity someone's supposed to be involved in. I know that nowadays there's a lot of hachonas that are made for going to sleep, and it should at least include Kriyat Shema. We'll just leave it at that. Kriyat Shema should be done properly. Anyways, so this is one shot that's a person, one unfortunate thing. When there are less people learning, there's more siyata d'shmaya. This is a concept that we know: buy cheap, sell expensive. When nobody's interested in learning and you're learning, so you have a special siyata d'shmaya. Kadosh Baruch Hu comes, you're learning late at night, and Kadosh Baruch Hu comes to hear your divrei Torah, and then you go to sleep on him. So that's a mischayev v'nashur because you created a relationship with that Kadosh Baruch Hu, very personal. You're not like the rest of the throngs of people that are just learning the whole day. You're doing the extra, or putting the extra effort, and you created a special relationship, and that's why this is chayev v'nashur. The Maral has a phenomenal explanation of this Mishnah, and I would like to share it with you. The reason why I find it phenomenal is because he says very little. This world is an orderly place. And the Gemara says, I'll just preface the Maral with a question that the Brisker Rov asks. The Brisker Rov asks that in Hilchos Deis, this is a Rambam that many people are Mekayim. It says you're supposed to sleep 8 hours a day. Easy Rambam to be Mekayim. However, the Rambam in Hilchos Talmud Torah says that a person is not supposed to sleep at night. So that doesn't work out so well. These two Rambams seem to contradict each other. As a person is supposed to sleep at night, he's not supposed to sleep at night. So the Brisker Rov answers the question. He says there are two mahalchim. You could live like a regular human being, or you could live the life of Torah. If you live the life of Torah, you don't have to worry about sleeping at night. We know the Vilna Gaon, who was a very close follower, so to speak, of the Rambam, he only slept 4 hours a night. So there's a mahalach over here of how much to sleep and how much not. Depends which life you put yourself into. There's two Gemaras, Saiser itself also. The Gemara says, Lo nivras alayla ela l'girsa, and lo nivras alayla ela l'shimsa, in order to sleep. So what are you supposed to do? So I know the wise guy answers, you're supposed to sleep on your Gemara. That's not the Pashup shot to the Gemara. Right? The person that this chayr is a stira, and the answer to the question is that there are two different mahalchim speaking about two different individuals, like we mentioned from the Brisker Rov. Says the Maral, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with multiple systems within systems within systems. A person has pain. Is pain good or pain bad?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Well, we don't like that we have pain, but pain is there to warn us that we're doing something that's no good for us. Someone puts their hand in fire, so it hurts. It's a good thing it hurts, because if it wouldn't hurt, the person would leave it there. Person has a pain in his tooth, so he knows he has to go to the dentist because soon he may not have a tooth if he doesn't take care of it, and so on and so forth. The person picked up something too heavy, he has a pain in his back, so he knows he has to screen his back properly, because otherwise it may be out of whack. He's not going to have to work anymore. Whatever it is, pain was created by Kadosh Baruch Hu as a protective device. Everything that a person has, every aver has a protective device in it, just like every animal has a protective device, how to deal with its environment. These are from the chasadim HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to us in the world. We have a body. We have an obligation to watch our body. There's a seder in the world. One way, says the Maral, is to pamper your body, take care of it. properly. And the other way is to live the life of Torah, which a person is allowed to beat up on his body, so to speak, in a certain sense. He's allowed to be rough on his body and he'll have a special siyata d'shmaya. But if a person is going to not be in the proper gym, whichever way he's supposed to be working himself out, then he's putting himself into a sakana. So this is what the Maral says. A person has to understand the night was made to sleep. It was not made to read books that are this fat. Okay? Books this fat are not comfortable pillows. Okay? Person is not supposed to be up at night to see if he can make it to the end of the book before sunrise and daven v'sikin, because then your head will be swimming in the book during v'sikin. Anyways, a person is not supposed to be spending his night reading books. Person is supposed to be sleeping. That is a virtuous thing to do, because that's why a person is supposed to. You're supposed to go to sleep at night. That's the proper thing to be doing. You should sleep at night. You're not sleeping at night and you're learning at night, that's also okay. But it wasn't made to play basketball. It wasn't made to read books. It wasn't made to just goof around. A person who does that, he has left the safe zone of life's existence. Says the Maral, by the fact that you are doing something which is out of the safety zone, you are putting yourself in danger. Now, what is the danger? So Chazal tell us, the Gemara tells us that there are shadim, there are mazikim, there are ganovim. Anybody want to know, if you wanted the choice to go to Harlem, to go to the Bronx, would you rather go on the day or the night? I'd rather not go.
Neither.
But if I had to go, I'd rather go in the day than in the night. I think that's simple. Though I would just mention that if I had to go into dangerous Arab territory, there I would rather go at night than the day, because the Arabs actually know that you're supposed to sleep at night. Not only that, they also know you're supposed to get up in the morning. They know a few things that some people could probably learn from them. Anyways, but that's what the Maral says. Now,
But what about, we were told that you get your best learning at night.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying. So you
Most
missed out on prime time. You're supposed to learn at night. You came a little bit late. You have two options. You have an option to use the night properly through learning, and that's the Mishnah says. A person is supposed to use the night for learning. You're not learning it through learning. You're going to sleep because you want to take care of your body. That's 100% okay. I'll just mention that there's a Rav in Toronto. I don't want to mention his name, who I know well. I used to know well, at least, that he was a very, very big masmid, and he would, when he was in yeshiva, they actually used to bring his food to his door and leave it by his door, because he used to sit and learn during all of the starim in his room. And he's a massive Talmud Chacham. And he told my friends, one bein Zmanim, the famous Taz that says that Shav L'cha Bashki Rekum, those people who are bleary-eyed, staying up a whole night learning, go to sleep like a mensch, learn like a mensch. You could do that, and you'll get to the same place. But the problem is that you have to go to sleep like a mensch, not like a behemoth, and you have to eat like a mensch, not like a behemoth, and those are very difficult. Not only that, the Gedolei Chassidim said about those people who stay up at night and learn, they have to make sure they're not like horses that are always trying to chaparine a siesta. Okay, you have to be able to do it, and it shouldn't cost you in your day. This is a very important concept. You can't chaparine. You have to do things the proper way, and to stay up and beat your body up and serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu is easier for many people than to eat a Suda with derech eretz and not be involved in their food. I think that we could just leave it at that. I think that we all understand what we're talking about. This is a very important idea. Now, the Tana of the Mishnah, who tells us to be careful on Bittul Torah, which seems to be how precious Torah is, the Gemara tells us that he went to learn for also 12 years, just like Rabbi Akiva, and his daughter was already got to be of marriageable age, and all the details are not so important for the purpose that I'm saying it over. So Rabbi Akiva sent him home. He went home. He went to get some water at the river, and he heard somebody saying his daughter's name. He realized it's his daughter. He came home, and he followed the girl home. She didn't know what her father looked like, and his wife sees him, and she dies on the spot, has a heart attack and dies on the spot. And he does Tchias HaMeisim and brings her back to life. This is the Tana of this Mishnah, who was a Noya Derish v'Noya Mekayim. What does it mean to be a Masmid? So I just like to mention my father, Arini Kaparas Mishkova. He told me from Rav Ruderman something which I think is fascinating, and I'm going to extend this idea because this concept really needs to be developed, and this isn't the form to develop it with. Rav Ruderman was learning in Slobodka, B'Hasmoda Gedoyla, and the Alta from Slobodka got a letter that Rav Ruderman's father died. It was in the middle of this man, and Rav Ruderman was learning with an unbelievable amount of Hasmada, and the Alter put the letter on the side, did not tell Rav Ruderman that his father died for I think a half a year or a year, I don't remember exactly how long. And the next time Bein Zmanim that he was going to go home came around, he told him that his father died. And he told him, the reason why I didn't tell you was because you were learning. And Ruderman said over this story, happy. He was happy with that which the Alter held back from him, this Yediyah, because it would interfere with his Avodas Hashem. Now, is that the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do? I will just tell you, in Shulchan Aruch, the fascinating Shulchan Aruch, it seems that that's Vada, the right thing to do. And I'm not going to get involved in it. We'll discuss this some other time. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Hasmad. We're talking about people who are not Mavatal's mind. That's what's supposed to be going on. All right. There are those that say Pshat in this Mishnah in a different way. There are some people that are up late at night. The famous story of Shal Salanter about the shoemaker who had the light on the whole night, and he took most of him. If he could be up doing his shoes at 3 a.m, I could be learning at 3 a.m. But there's some people that are busy, involved in raking it in making success for themselves. Haneir balayla, the person is up late at night. That guy who's busy, consumed with himself. Usually what happened to those people, they become in a certain sense like hermits. Whether they become hermits technically or not is not the point, but what ends up happening, they have they have blinders on their eyes, and they don't see anybody around them. In other words, what does it mean to have blinders on your eyes? So there are some people that can walk in the shul, and they'll see that there's something on the floor, and their eyes work well enough for them to walk around it, but Chalila v'chas, that would never connect to their brain that they should pick it up. Now, there's some people that can even be like that in their home, etc., right? So that's an idea that some people, they're busy with themselves, they don't see anybody else. And some people, on the contrary, all they see is they see everybody else and they never see themselves. There are different kinds of people, and we want to be from the people that see others and not see ourselves. So the person who's busy amassing his wealth, what's he worried about? Himself. He finds himself, not only is he ner balayla burning extra time at work, but he's hoylach yechidi. In his life, he doesn't see other people. And not only that, he ends up becoming involved in his own gashmish, his own pursuits, at the expense of other people. That person is a nar balayla, mahalach b'derech yechidi, and he is mefana libo levatala. He involves himself in things that are not really important. Mischayev benafsho. He's chayev benafsho. Why? Because he sold himself short. What happened to your nefesh? You forgot about your nefesh. You're worried about yourself. You're not worried about anybody else. You're going the wrong way. Okay. I saw something which is fascinating. I have a choice. I have to visit somebody, and I have to learn my daf Gemara. how should I arrange my day? So there are some of the Mefarshim that tell us there's a directive from the Mishnah here that a person should do his chores during the day and learn at night. Why? Because he'll have less distractions when he's learning, and he'll have more distractions when he's doing other things which are not necessarily as important. I would like to share with you, I don't have much time over here left to finish the Mishnah, but the Ramchal on this Mishnah, well, I'm sorry you guys will have to bench Goimel in a minute. Okay, hello. You guys, I want to read to you a Ramchal on this Mishnah, which is relevant for today. His discussion is how much should one be concerned about sakana and how much bitachon you should have. And if I can figure out why I'm talking about this, don't consider yourself a rocket scientist, okay? And he discusses that a person is not supposed to depend on everything for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That person that umisha yirtze shelo yinag atzmo b'derech hachachma v'yafker atzmo lesakonos. A person who decides that he is going to not see the traffic light, I'm going to be mafking myself. This is not bitachon, but this is giddiness. This is against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A person has an obligation to watch himself. Nimtza, so he says, this person who's at night and he doesn't take the proper precautions by learning, which is a shomer, he did two things wrong. One, he put himself in danger, and the other one is that he did an avera against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which endangers him. V'aklal lahavchim ben shtei hayiros, ma shechilku chachamim ba'omram, heicha d'shchicha hizeka shiny. If the hezek is common, one is obligated to be worried about it. Keep a makom shahezek motzi benoida. If we're in a place where it's clear that there's some kind of a danger, yesh lishmor, a person is obligated to watch himself. Ach b'makom shein hezek noida, ein lira. If you don't see that there's any problem, you don't have to be afraid. A person is not mechuyev to go and figure out maybe there's a problem here. Now, I'd just like to say something, hopefully, Mitzvah Hashem, Mashiach should come shortly before Shabbos, and we shall all see you in Yerushalayim HaKodesh. If Chalil Chas that doesn't happen, and life reverts back to being normal, I would like to ask a question, and I'm not going to answer it. I would imagine when the shul, the Mitzvah Hashem, shortly will come back into usage, so everybody's going to come with their special gels and gloves and wipes to make sure all the surfaces and stuff is clean wherever they are, and that's fine. That's what should be done. I'm not right now discussing that. Does that mean that practice should follow us for the next 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years? Because we know there was one time such a thing that happened. So there's a level of shchichi azeka and a level of non-shchichi azeka. I didn't say people should be drinking from other people's cups. A person has to realize that there is some fine line that has to be found in order to know how to act. Okay. The Haris Nosan, he says something fascinating. He says that a person sometimes finds himself that he thinks that he has a great way. And he's ner balayla, everybody else is sleeping, I have a great way to work things out. And he's mahalach yechidi, and he's going by himself, and he's perish atzor and atzibor. This person will be in great danger of being a fana liba. A person who finds himself in a tzibor, he will be shamur. I would like to share with you the following story. My Rosh Yeshiva in America, Rabbi Yaakov Schneidman, is a very great guy and a Talmud Chacham, but I wouldn't say that he's known as the classical Bal Musar kind of a fellow. And I was one time speaking to him, and there was a certain Choshev of Alabas who took a job that was below his stature. And I asked him, why do you think this fellow took the job? So he looks at me with pity. I don't know why Omar Abraham always had pity on me. And he says to me, he doesn't daven b'tzibur. So I said to him, since when did you become a Baal Musar? What kind of answer is that to the question? I didn't say it like that, obviously. And he says, no, I don't mean what you mean. I mean something very simple. If you would come to work to daven every day, and he would meet people, and people know he was missing and he didn't have a job, he would never have the guts to say, I took such a job. But being that he didn't meet people, he was able to not have to face the music, and he found himself in such a place. Person who goes off on his own, he has a great danger, and a person has to be careful not to do that. I just like to answer, will say something else. I saw in this Mishnah a nekuda, which I'd like to share with the people here in Shul, and maybe I should scream. I would, but since you're not going to shake in your seats if I scream, so I'm not going to. One of the people who wrote on this Mishnah discussed the idea, which I mentioned in the beginning, about being mefana liboy. People can control their desires, and different people control them different ways. And he said as follows. I'm not going to say the names of the people involved, but I don't think people know who they are, but it's beautiful if you know the people were. There was a yeshiva, a very world-famous yeshiva, that had in it a Rosh Yeshiva who was a gem of a gentleman of a person, and the mashkiach was a heartful mashkiach with the full heart, and in the yeshiva used to come around people collecting money all the time. I don't know if you people in Avos Shalom, you have to realize that, think about all those people that are missing out on the money that they collected every morning in Avos Shalom when they would come by, or the cars with a few people every time. Now, think about the people that are out of a job, so to speak. Anyways, so he said, I noticed the mashkiach, whenever you would see these people going around during davening, and could be it's not proper, we discussed this in halacha share that shouldn't be going on, it disturbed him. And the Rosh Yeshiva knew that this happens every day, and he had money put on his stender in advance, and the people would come, they would know what to take. So he worked out a way that he shouldn't have to be mefana liboy in the middle of davening to be concerned with an eventuality which is going to come. So I think the idea of this Mishnah that we should walk away with, we have an obligation to make sure that we set ourselves up, that we're able to do what we're supposed to do. And Mitzvah Hashem, we should do what we're supposed to do, and that is to bring Mashiach b'karov. Thank you very much. Have a good night and a good Shabbos, or whatever.
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Night.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Good Shabbos. Okay. Well, tomorrow, I'm not going away. I'm staying on. Tomorrow, again, what time? I think 4 o'clock I'm on. Something like that.
I wanted to ask Rav a very short shaila.
Yeah.
I bought a whisk. One of these
whisk?
guys.
1 second. I don't see. What is that?
A hand mixer. A hand
A hand
mixer.
mixer. Okay. Yeah.
And I have no way of everything in as far as I know, unless there's something opened up. I checked the can mixers. So I shouldn't use it. I shouldn't use it.
You shouldn't use it, or you can find a way to give it to a guy.
The Mikra Kalim over here is, I think, open.
As
Which
far
one?
as I know, before Pesach it was open.
Lachish was closed. I just went today.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Not
Rav
open a
Avrohom
week
is
ago.
open. Maybe Rav Avrohom.
Over here it's officially open, but officially closed. I think Lamaisa it's open. Unless if you couldn't pull it up.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
locked.
It's
locked, and I lifted up the door a little bit, and there's no water in it.
okay, because I was there a few weeks ago, maybe before Pesach.
Okay. Maybe we'll find for your place. Call me later. Maybe we'll find for your place. We can tell you.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
I just want to, רק רציתי להגיד שהרב דיבר על קוטן באכילת פסח במשמעת חיים לפני שבועיים.
כן.
בתויסוסים, אני לא הייתי בשבוע שעבר, בשיעור הקודם לצערי, אבל אני בדקתי את התויסוסים בעמוד א', בפ"ח עמוד א', לא במחשב, בדקתי את זה בגמורת.
כן? מה? מה, מנייר? זה עשוי מנייר?
נהיה.
צריך להיות שמסתם זה היה בשבת, כשלא היה יכול לפתוח את המחשב.
זה לא היה בשבת והחלטתי שאני בודק את זה. אבל חיפשתי,
אוקיי,
I got the cheating way how to look for it, אבל עשיתי את זה
בסדר.
דרך החיפשי טויספס.
כן.
אבל טויספס אומר שהוא כן יאכל בגלל חינוך.
כן, אבל זו השאלה על הטויסס. איך חינוך יכול, חינוך זה דרבנון, וצריך להיות מונוי זה דרייסה, זו השאלה. זו שאלה על הטויסס.
בסדר, נכון, אבל הרב שלח לטויספס, מה הטויספס
כן,
אומר?
כן, אמרתי, הטויסס אומר שזה מותר.
אז מה התשובה על הטויספס?
אז יש דין, זה קשור למשמרת חיים, יש דין שלהיות מוני לאו דווקא צריך להיות מחויב. שני דברים, זה מתפלג.
מוני מחויב,
כן, הוא חפצה שיכול לקיים, לא צריך להיות קיים המצווה, זה לא בדין, בקיצור, על זה יש לזה הרבה תירוץ על זה. בסדר, אוקיי.
תודה רבה, good night, thank you very much.
You're welcome. טוב, anybody else? Okay, all right, have a good night.
Good Shabbos. Thank you.
Good Shabbos, yeah.